Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. This is Mr. Muhammad talking to you, our dear students. Today, we're gonna explain new unit, new lesson. Unit 6, Lesson 1. But before, we should recognize the aims of our unit. Our aims: grammar, gerunds, conditionals, zero, first, and second. Vocabulary, modern and the new technologies, compound nouns. Speaking, cause and effect, situations and decisions, contrastive stress. As for writing, summarizing. Unit 6, our title, Keeping Up with Technology. Keeping up with means to move at the same rate with something. Here, to move with technology. Number 1. Developing the car. Developing. The verb is develop. Developing is a noun. In a verb, we can add ing to get the noun. The car. A car is a vehicle that we can use to move from place to another. Number 1. Speaking. In pairs or groups, discuss the following questions. Number 1. Who in your family has a car? What would you use a car for if you had one? As for the first part, who in your family has a car, you can think. Maybe your father, maybe your brother. What would you use a car for? We can use a car to move from place to another. Number 2. What kinds of problems do cars cause in big cities? We have a lot. Pollution, noise, accidents, traffic jams, problems caused by parking. Of course, the matter is different from cities to villages. In villages, we have less pollution, less noise. A. In pairs, answer the questions, guessing if necessary. Number 1. Are cars today technically very different from cars in 1970 or virtually the same? Number 1. Yes. Cars today are very different. They are safer, use less petrol, and produce less pollution than cars in 1970. New technology has been introduced, including fuel injection, multi-valve cylinders, and microprocessors. And also I think they have now different designs. Number 2. Which state in the United States took the lead in moving toward non-polluting vehicles? California, Illinois, or New York? Think for a while. Yes, the answer is California. Number 3. Will non-polluting vehicles ever be as satisfactory in general performance as petrol-powered cars? Yes, non-polluting vehicles will be better than petrol-powered cars. I think also they will be environmentally friendly. Now we can start with our reading comprehension. Why change from petrol engines? Cars have come a long way since Carl Benz built the first practical petrol-powered motor vehicle in 1885. Over the first 7 decades of the 20th century, they became increasingly fast, comfortable, safe, and reliable. Most of them also became much less expensive, so more and more people could afford one. New or second-hand, driving developed from a hobby of the rich into a fundamental part of everyday life. The word decade means 10 years, especially continuous periods. For example, from 20 to 2010. Also, we have the word second-hand, means used. The last line we have the word fundamental, means essential, essential part, basic. By 1970, improving the performance of cars didn't seem possible. However, by the end of the century, virtually any new car could cruise safely at 30 kilometers an hour faster, using less petrol and producing 80% less pollution than a new 1970 car. This was the result of using new technology such as fuel injection, multi-valve cylinders, and above all, microprocessors or mini computers. The second line, the word cruise, means travel. If this meant that modern cars were pollution-free, there wouldn't be a problem. But even today's cars produce about 50,000 kilograms of pollutants annually, mostly carbon monoxide and ozone, and every day there are more motor vehicles. Most people realize that if we don't do something about the situation, it could lead toward an ecological and human health disaster. Producing cleaner alternatives to the petrol engine is the key, and some governments have been pushing car manufacturers to do just that. In California, for example, 10% of all new cars since 2003 have had to be ZEVs, zero-emission vehicles, and that quota will increase progressively. Line number 3, annually, means every year. Carbon monoxide, CO, and also we have carbon dioxide, CO2. Ecological, related to plants and living creatures and their environment. Disaster means big problem. Alternatives means choices. The first electric ZEVs were slow, limited in range, and very expensive compared with conventional cars. If technology continues to develop at current rates, all that will soon change. The car industry is exploring different possibilities, and several breakthroughs are close. More new cars are sold in California annually than in most countries, so this will have an impact everywhere. If the global market changes, it will lead to mass production and reduced costs. One day soon, traveling by ZEV will be quite normal, and your city will be a quiet, pollution-free place. Line 2. Conventional means traditional. Current means recent. Breakthrough means improvement, development, and also we can call it penetration. Impact means effect. Exercise number 3. A. Tick the sentences true or false. If you are not sure, guess. Before you answer this exercise, please, my dear student, you can read your reading comprehension at first in your book, and you can answer this exercise, and then you can take our feedback from here. Number 1. ZEVs, zero-emission vehicles, will never be able to go as fast as petrol engine vehicles. False. Number 2. Some ZEVs will be able to go farther than petrol engine vehicles without refueling. True. The best option for the development of ZEVs is a new type of electric battery. True, of course. Number 4, ZEVs will soon be more economical than petrol engine vehicles. True. Number 5, ZEVs are expensive now because they are not mass produced. Of course. True. You can check after reading. Before watching your video, please go to your passage in your book, and then you can answer. After, you can check your answers here with our answers. Listening. The last exercise, last activity with us here in our session Listen to an interview about ZEVs and check your answers. Now listen again and complete the table. We have a comparison between petrol vehicles and ZEVs. So, as I told before, you can listen to your track and then you can answer your question, and here you can take your feedback. Petrol vehicles, ZEVs, we can compare between them in our listening track, source of energy. As for petrol vehicles, petrol, ZEVs, electricity, hydrogen, oxygen. Level of pollution, petrol vehicles, high, ZEVs, low. Amount of noise, petrol vehicles, high, ZEVs, low. As for cost, we have petrol vehicles, expensive, ZEVs, cheaper. Thank you.